presented by Under Armour and Sleeper Fantasy. Welcome to Light Years. Andy Lou, we are so back. We're so back. Now, Warriors win 120-114 against the Clippers. Going to play the Clippers again in a couple of days. And I think this is interesting, not because they got to win and maybe they're going to turn it around. And we'll see. Like, multiple games will tell us if that's a real thing. I think it's interesting because no Wiggins. By the way, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
No GP2, no Chris Paul, 3 guys who are in the top 7, 8 of the rotation. And I thought they looked more like the Warriors tonight than they have the vast majority of the season. That's not to say that they don't look like the Warriors when those guys play, but like it just felt like a Warriors team, and specifically young guys stepping up. Is this not what we expected to see all season, which was a deep roster, maybe not a ton of high-end talent like kind of Stephen, but like 10, 11, 12 guys who can play?
This is exactly that. And that is exactly why I feel like this was one of the more impressive wins of the season. Look, man, I know the Clippers aren't great. I know they've got a bunch of old guys. I know they're on the second end of a back-to-back here or whatever. But when I watched this game, Samuel, I felt like this was Warriors basketball, right? They're playing with a ton of energy. They were trying to run the Clippers off the floor, out-hustling the Clippers. They kept their system pretty simple tonight. No bullshit. Kind of just gave the ball to 2-3 guys that can actually dribble and have them make decisions. Only turned the ball over 7 times, right? That was something that it seemed like they were hyper focused on. And I thought they played really good, smart defense. Part of that is Draymond actually stayed on the floor to play 30 minutes tonight, right? Like, okay, thank you. Thank you.
Helps.
Right. And so, I thought everyone was locked in. Steph had a couple of bad ones, but other than that, like one bad one that he had to close the half, Steph on the ball tonight was unbelievable. And then to me, Sam, I know it's 11:30-23, so I know it's Steph, Clay, and Draymond's night. I thought all of them played really well. But to me, the story of tonight was the 3 guys on, I won't say the second timeline, but the 3 younger guys that I feel are the most ready to play played very well tonight. And that was Podziemski, Moses Moody, especially Podziemski and Moody. And then the third one was Kuminga, right, who has one of these games every week or every couple weeks. And tonight it felt like he knew he was going to play 25 minutes, and he said he was going to go out there and ball out. So, Sam, that was the story to me. Those 3 guys were amazing.
I know and that's kind of where I'm at. Like, Steph is a god. I think he finally got the turnovers under control a little bit tonight, and that's great. But and Draymond, wow, shocker! Don't get yourself kicked off the court. You can actually help the team a little bit, right? And even I'll give Clay some credit. Clay came alive at the end of really the early fourth for them, and they needed it because they couldn't find offense for a moment there. And Clay, it looked like I don't want to say a vintage Clay game, but like he did exactly what you expect, which was provide that secondary scoring punch when they needed it, right? But the story of the game was the 3 young guys. And should we start on Pods a little bit? Because, look, man, I liked him at Santa Clara, and I kind of threw out there that I liked him. And when the Warriors picked him, it was a lot of, do they really need another guard who's 20 years old? I would be lying if I said I thought he'd be this ready to play this quick. Like, he does not look like a player who is in his 19th NBA game, less than 20 games in the pros, and an early leaving a mid-major type of guy. Like, I think it's highly impressive is where I'm at with it.
He plays each game like it's an NBA Finals game, and I don't get to see him play enough because he doesn't get to play enough, right? But sure. It is amazing to me. It blows my mind every single time. It's not that he's more athletic, but he plays at a different speed than other guys. He gets to the ball faster. He inbounds the ball faster. He closes out faster. He got 8 rebounds tonight, so he's quicker just straight up to the ball. It's not even hustle stuff, dude. 8 rebounds is 8 rebounds. Tonight, Kuminga had 6 rebounds. If Wiggins had 8 rebounds, we'd be like, oh my fucking God. But that's just kind of par for the course when Podziemski's playing 30 minutes a game, right? And then obviously he can shoot. Fitz talked about that they want him to shoot more. I think my take, I don't want to take it there yet, but my take is that he should just play backup point guard. They don't.
So they haven't played. They haven't played him at point guard yet.
I know, which is annoying.
They play him as kind of a secondary ball handler. I think my take is he should play with Steph more, honestly, because Jordan Poole 2 years ago was awesome next to Steph because he was, at some point defenses will just go fuck it. We're not letting that guy beat us. And then, someone else has to make a play. So it's nice to have a guy on the court who can make a play next to Steph. And Poole did that for an extended period of time. And then, things went south there. We don't need to get back into it. I don't think either of us want to. Pod strikes me as kind of like that type of combo guard who can defend and play next to Steph and potentially, be that secondary release valve, which makes him unguardable. Because literally, if you have anyone who can be that release valve and put pressure on a defense around Steph, you can't guard. You can't guard the Warriors. You're going to either let Steph play one-on-one, which I'll take my chances if I'm the Warriors.
I mean, he did at the end of the game tonight, and he was great.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I don't disagree with you. It would be worth if CP3. It sounds like it's probably going to be a couple games, not much more than that, but maybe it's 3 or 4. Perfect time to experiment, see what it looks like when Pods runs point.
Yeah. Let's get back to the games, but the final thing, long term, I'm just thinking about it, and I'm just excited. I'm just this is the kid that looks like he could be playing some of those minutes that Chris Paul is playing. He doesn't really make mistakes. It might make that contract worth looking at come trade deadline. But anyway, this is a guy that it amazes me that he's. We talk so much about Kuminga and Moody having to play minutes, and they should be played more minutes. And I think Moody tonight could have done that again. But I think when you look at someone like Podziemski, he's just so good that he's just going to have to close. In a game like this, I don't know if Steve Kerr was going to close with Podziemski when he came into this game tonight. I doubt it. I doubt he was going in thinking that he would, but he watched the game, and like everyone else, you watch Podziemski and you're he should close.
Shout out Steve watching the game for once. And not going with his rigid rotations. I'm being facetious, but last game was the epitome of nothing that happened on the court was going to change your mind with what you were doing with your rotations. Yep. And tonight, it was, I'm going to play what's working on the floor. And clearly Podziemski was working, Yep. So that's all I'm asking. All I'm asking is, play what's on the court a little bit, play the hot hand, play who's working. Some nights that'll be Kuminga, some nights that'll be Podziemski, most nights it'll be Steph, Clay, Wiggins, and Clay, But just play the Checo, Steph, and the hot hands. Honestly, reward guys if they play well. I don't think it's a revolutionary concept I'm throwing out there.
Yeah, it's not. I think Clay played 34 minutes today. It's a ton of minutes. He, by the way, we kind of move on to him a little bit, but he was someone that I think was really good defensively on the ball, right? I think he did very well against Kawhi. I thought it was pretty funny. It reminded me a little bit of that Toronto series. Yeah. As that series went along, if you remember, Clay was doing a number on Kawhi, and I think it started to become an advantage for the Warriors there before he.
It helps. Hey, man, he's got just as many torn ligaments as Clay, so it's an even fight.
Kawhi looks slow, huh? I know they've played a lot of games here lately, the Clippers, but man, Kawhi looks.
But he could still hit shots.
So. I know he's still very good. I know the last few games he's still very good, but I can't imagine that's someone that's still great in a playoff setting or can make it through a series in a playoff setting. But hey, just want to shout out Clay. I feel like he's been through a bunch of shit, at least from himself. It looks like he's still in his head a little bit. I know I've been frustrated watching him a lot. I think I was frustrated watching him in the last game against the Kings, just some of the shots that he was taking. But I think it was pretty obvious tonight he was forcing himself not to take. It's not about for Clay, it's not about the shooting percentage. It's not about it's more about can you just take the good shots, right? I get taking the heat check shots, but some of the shots that he shot last game was just,
you gotta hit a couple in a row before you can justify heat check.
And I think tonight he really forced himself to say, look, man, if this really isn't a good time for this shot, even if it's open, right? He had this one where he had a wide open one on the baseline. He dribbled and got Moody a dunk, right? Kind of near the end of the game. And you're just like, I mean, he's one of the greatest shooters of all time, but it is really nice to see him do that. And hopefully he keeps doing it moving forward.
Do you think, I want to ask you about Kuminga.
Yeah.
Do you think he played a better game today because Wiggins didn't play?
I'm going to roll it back. I'm going to flip it back on you.
Mm-hmm.
If that were true, I think that doesn't really speak highly of him and his future as a basketball player.
It's a fair point. Because my theory is, I feel like half of his issue is he's in his own head about like, I make a single mistake, I get pulled, right? It's not about like, Wiggins personally or GP2 personally. It's more like, I feel like when they're not out there, I have the space to play and play free, right? And one could question if that's a coaching thing too. But anyway, they don't play. He plays better. The chat mentions it, and it's a fair point. His best stretch last year was without Wiggins. I think we all have this idea that like, depth in the roster, they can mix and match, blah, 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 that sort of thing. But it takes kind of the human element a little bit out of it, because it's not easy for every player to do that. Like, yeah, Gary Payton II doesn't care because he's like a grinder out of the G League. He's like, throw me out there and make a play. Podziemski apparently doesn't care. He apparently has the same mindset, but not everyone does. Like Kuminga, I would throw Wiggins in here too. Another guy who needs to like feel his game before you get the best out of him a little bit. And I don't know, like it's tricky. Like let's call it what it is, because you have a bunch of talent, but it's not easy to get the best out of them in every setting.
I same with Moody, right? Moody doesn't really need that. I think he could just get in there and just shoot, right? Game.
More so, yeah.
Going back to last game, I mean, he wasn't going to play. They said that Steve Kerr told him he was out of rotation. He goes in and he just gets 11 straight points, right? So I'm with you. The thing is, I agree with you. I think he does play better when he knows he's going to play. I just don't think that's... Look, man, like there's no path forward for you then. Like there's just no path forward if that's the case. If you're going to say you need 25 minutes a game and you need a rotation spot or a starting spot in order to play, that's just not going to happen with the Warriors. And I think we can argue to our faces blue whether that's fair or unfair, right? Because I still think Wiggins and Clay are better than Kuminga, so I think they should be getting 30 minutes anyway. But I don't know. I just don't know what to say if that's the case. It's just not good for him moving forward, which is why I feel Moses Moody and Podziemski are just way more Warriors-esque type of players. They're just used to being role players, man. And Kuminga just hasn't proven himself to be a star player. They are trying to fit him in as a role player, and he's not. And then he doesn't have the mentality. It's tough for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you look at the roster and you're like, man, if you can flip some combination of these players for a different type of player, now we're cooking. Now we're, you know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of what it comes down to, where I'm like, I like them all individually. I think most of them can help the team. And I wonder if Kuminga and Wiggins and everything they have going is a long-term recipe. In my mind, I thought Kuminga was the swing piece because I thought the lineup that was going to be the Warriors like championship lineup was going to be Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Kuminga, Draymond, kind of similar makeup to the death lineup of the past. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be a thing. There's too many. I don't know if Wiggins or Kuminga are good enough passers to make it work. Honestly, is really what
it's not going to be a thing, and that's why that position right there, because you would think Moody's not good enough to play at that closing role, right? To win a championship.
A little too small, exactly. A little too small to go. Like you would think like the 2'6'8" ultra athletic wings are the way you want to go with it, and so they're kind of in this position where it's like I like 10, 11 of these players individually, but I'm not sure they have the correct combinations to go forward. Because can we just be honest? Like, Looney and Dre is not going to work long term, not in the playoffs. And
it doesn't seem like it's working in the regular season now either, which is a little rough.
It's shocking how long it's even worked. Like when you consider the fact neither of them are scorers, they got a lot of mileage out of the fact those dudes are just smart. But I think the long-term play is those dudes just like you stagger them, right? Like you have one of them on the floor at all times. That helps your team. Maybe you play them a little bit together, but like it's not your combo,
Yeah, I think we're getting almost to the point that maybe Looney, he's not been great this season. See, I don't know what it is because he doesn't look like he's hurt. Doesn't look like he's really. Is he out of shape? Is he regressed in terms of skill?
He's playing slow. So
I think he's gotten. I think at some point they're going to have to get him out of the starting lineup.
Mm-hmm. And still rebounding.
Probably get Sarge in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably what they should do. I mean, that's probably their best bet. I think it'll make things.
And that's that's a short-term solution, right? Like
for this season, I mean, I think that they'd have to go with that though.
It's the best you got for the next month.
You giving me Siakam at the trade deadline? I mean, then yeah. But yeah, I mean that's it.
Yeah, I think the other thing I wanted to talk about in this game is Chris Paul. It's just one game, but they did look better without my guy, the point guard. We going to go there, or is it a little early?
Well, I think, and where I went with Podziemski is I think with how he's played and the way that the Warriors want to play, and they only turned the ball over 7 times, I start to think about what the trade deadline means and what the Warriors should be packaging. Because everyone's coming to me, or coming to you, or coming to anyone, everyone else, and saying, well, we got to package up Clay's contract, or we got to look at trading Wiggins. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, you're not really going to win and Clay hasn't been great, but you're not really going to win a championship getting Clay off this team, if they even want to get Clay off this team. He's still a good player and still a great fit next to Steph, next to Draymond. The guy that you want to trade, the guy that makes the most sense, and I know the rumors have been bringing this up, is CP3. And you watch a game like this, and you watch Podziemski, and you watch what he can do at the backup point / 2 guard with Corey fucking Joseph. But I'm pretty content with those guys, Sam. If you can package up CP3, and then we just talked about Kuminga, it's a good win tonight. Whatever. I just think of those things, right? When you talk about what they can do without CP3, because CP3 is not really what they need, which is what I've been trying to say.
It's also just a feel thing. Like, they play fast, they move the ball. Chris Paul comes in, he slows it down. It's like it's a fit thing, right? Like, they play different styles of basketball. I haven't looked up the numbers, but I feel very confident saying Clay shoots worse with Chris Paul on the floor. Like all that stuff kind of adds up a little bit. So
they also go to so small when they close a game. I mean, like Chris Paul would have closed tonight, and it's just like I never liked it, and partly I kind of just blame Steve. It's just like, or even the players, honestly, not even Steve, like the players. I'm sure they want it. It's just like, guys, you got to know that you can't close games with Steph, CP3, and Clay. I tried to say this from the moment that you can't. You just can't do it. I'd rather just throw Kuminga out there, who's just bigger. Steph, just handle the fucking ball and don't turn it over. It's not that hard. Like he did that tonight. Steph, you're one of the greatest, if not the greatest point guard of all time. You don't need to play off ball all the fucking time. Stop it. Right? So it's just, if CP3 comes back, and he's playing again, they're going to close with him. They're going to play him 32 minutes. Sam, I've had enough. I've always had enough with this, but, whatever. I just also didn't know Pods was going to be this great. You were right on that one. I had no idea. I had no idea he could play basketball like this. It's unbelievable.
I mean, I liked him in college, but this is all ahead of schedule. So
it's not even like he played at Duke, right? Like it's not even like he played.
Yeah, that's the thing. Mid-major players are good in the NBA all the time. Steph Curry being the obvious example.
Yeah, right.
You don't expect it to just hit this quick for a guy that young. So we'll see where it goes. But like Mike Dunleavy, good first draft pick. Give him that. You know what?
Yeah, go.
We didn't even talk about it, but Wiggins missed tonight's game.
Laughing? don't think it's funny. You think it's funny, Sam? I think it's fucking funny.
I think it's hilarious. You don't think it's funny how he hurt his finger?
How do you hurt his finger? Give it to us for the people that don't know that are going to be listening.
Andrew Wiggins hurt his finger, missed tonight's game because he slammed his car door on the finger this morning. Short-term thing, not expected to be an extended period of time that he misses. Slammed car finger. Epitome of a idiot injury. I don't know what else you want to say.
Flashes of Monte Ellis. I know Monte Ellis was a serious injury, but just a very unserious. It's been a very unserious start for Andrew Wiggins this season, and I think this adds to it.
What is the dumbest? I don't know. What is the dumbest thing you've ever done? No.
Oh, you go first. I've got a lot. You go first.
Let's see I got a long list of stories.
Okay, all right, I got one for you. I had one holster. This was when I was a little kid, so I got a couple, but this one's not. It's kind of funny. So I was a little kid. I was like maybe 8 years old or something like that, and I was at Target running around, and I was a kid, I was super energetic, so I was always running around at whatever. So I got lost. I didn't know where my mom and dad were, so I started panicking, going crazy, and I ran across, and I swear I don't know how this happened, but I ran across like a clothes hanger, like a clothes hanger, and it tore into my scalp. And so I just ended up bleeding. And back then with stitches, they had to staple you, right? This is like 1999 is what I'm saying, right? They had like to staple the shit together. And I was a little fucking kid. So I was like, yo, they're fucking stapling this shit. Hurt like fuck. But that was one of the dumbest injuries I've ever had in my life. Suffice to say, I've never lost my mom and dad again at a shopping mall.
So you had your skull stapled. Things make sense. Things make a lot of sense right now.
All right. How about you?
Dumbest thing I've ever done. I'm going to go with one when I was 18.
You were drunk.
No, this is a sober one.
Oh, wow.
I was dribbling a basketball, and I kind of tried to leave Costco with it, and then I got stopped by security, and they called my mom saying I was trying to shoplift, told me I could never get a Costco card for the rest of my life. Wow. So I thought I was going to jail. It's just epitome of idiot move.
Wait, so do you have a Costco card today?
I haven't tested getting a Costco card.
Oh my God. So you just use Joanna's. You guys go and use her Costco card. That is wow. That is amazing. That is way better than my story. There's no way. The chat thinks there's no way Costco keeps track of that. I'm
gonna have to agree with them too. But they shook me for 20 years. I didn't even try.
Oh my God.
Maybe whatever.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That is amazing. Wow. Shout out to Costco security. They don't fuck around, man. They put the fear of God into you.
It's a basketball. It's not that big a deal.
Oh man.
Whatever. I tried to spin move my way out of security and I got caught.
Hey, I had the Costco hot dogs the other day and they tore my stomach up, man. Delicious, but man, that stuff will mess you up. All the time. Shout out to Costco.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Costco. What was I gonna say? All right. That reminds us, we gotta get to our Under Armour matchup of the week, Andy.
Let's go.
I think it's pretty clear. Matchup of the week is they play the Clippers in 2 days. They play the Clippers Saturday morning. Saturday 1 p.m. They play the Clippers, which is a trap time. I will know that this team is potentially for real if they can win that one. Because they beat them tonight, but they played the Clippers on a back-to-back.
Yep.
We're feeling good. We're kind of bearing the back-to-back part as we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Go to LA, beat them again. Then I will start believing a little bit more in you right now.
The real Under Armour Curry brand matchup is the Warriors against the LA Nightlife. And we talk about this every season, but it really is the matchup, man. I know Paul George, he'll shoot out of his funk. James Harden's as James Harden as ever, and Kawhi is Kawhi. But the real matchup, Samuel, is what happens Friday night when the Warriors get to LA. What happens Friday night? Because if they are coming out locked in Saturday afternoon, and it's not a 15-point deficit after 8 minutes, I will know like they are ready to roll.
If I see photos of Kuminga with sunglasses on at 11 in the morning rolling into the arena, just going to say it's not time yet. They're not ready to get serious just yet.
Let me finish this off. So that's your Curry Brand Under Armour matchup of the week. Do your thing. Change the game. So the Curry 11 Future Currys are actually available now at currybrand.com.
Before we get to the goons, I want to talk about, what is today? 11/30/23 day. Coincidental that it falls this way, but like I was playing with it in my head, the odds that you're going to get 3 players and it works out with the year, the day, the month, the year, very little. And I feel like we should at least give a little thought to the core a little bit here. So I think it's pretty cool. Like, it's been rough. I know I said at Thanksgiving, I think it's the last year we're going to see of everyone together. That may or may not be true. I don't know, but even if it is true, a decade of that level of success, 12, 13 years together, that level of success, like we should just throw a little love their way, right?
I really want to do this segment tonight because this makes me very happy. The Warriors have not made you and I the happiest this season, but this makes me very happy tonight. These 3 guys, after the game, you saw how happy they were. I saw a tweet the other day when the Warriors lost that game against the Kings, and somebody, I think KD's boy, Banksy, was like, "Oh, it's amazing that LeBron has outlasted the Warriors this long." And I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, has he? Because it is amazing to me that the Warriors, through all of this, through all the winning and all the losing that they've done it together, right? They've never had to go anywhere else when shit hit the fan. They're like, oh my God, I'm scared. Let me go somewhere else and ruin someone else's franchise and trade all their picks and just have a great situation and not win anything over there. Now that they stayed here and they played together and they've had the best chemistry. I know as much as we talk about, Steph trusts these guys maybe too much, but that's part of why these things are so cool, right? Is that these guys have played together for a decade plus. And I think, I disagree with you. I think these guys are going to play together for another 3+ years. And I think that's amazing, right? I think that's amazing. I think that's so much cooler than one dude that has cherry picked his way in his whole career. Only, by the way, to end up with the same amount of fucking championships. Yeah, the same amount.
Have you weighed them? Did they mean more based on proprietary metrics, which I made up? So
I know exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Argue against the wall about what means more to what means who. But these guys have won the same. Hell, they've won more together. They've lost together. Losing together means something too, right? You can't always just win. Like, these guys have been through so much of the bad together and the great. Like, I don't know.
I agree with you there. I don't think enough credit's given to your ability to overcome adversity. They basically achieved everything you could possibly achieve from 2015 through 2019. KD walks. Clay tears his knee. Clay then has a second, even worse. Do you remember the team they had in 2019? Yeah. Kai Bowman, the Pascanimal,
Sky Bowman,
Glenn Robinson III. We were literally arguing how mad we were that they didn't bring GR3 back.
Yeah,
like that's like Omari Spellman, Marquise Chris. Do you know how many times we had pods where people are like, "Why don't they bring Marquise Chris back?" Like, I mean, there were some dark times in there for a couple of years. And they stuck with it. Clay came back. Like, look, man, he's not the same player he was beforehand, but he's still good. They still stuck with it. And I think in some ways, to your point, the resilience after being through the down is more impressive than the rise.
It is.
I was about to say anyone can do the rise, but they cannot, because we just watched the Clippers. There's only one guy on that team who's been part of anything that matters. So not everyone can do that. But if you want to talk about legendary all time, get knocked down, go through some really dark stuff, and see how you respond to it. The chat's just throwing out the names, like the laundry list.
Michael
of guys.
Mulder. Yeah. I mean, but look, they won a championship. They lost a 3-1 lead. They came back, recruited one of the best players of all time, won 2 straight championships, blew out ligaments, right? Steph broke a hand. Draymond was I don't know what he was doing. He's getting ejected every other night. Then they come back and win another championship. I mean, come on. And actually, before that, they lost heartbreakers to the Clippers, right? And the Spurs. They lost before that first championship. They've been through all this stuff together. Man, together. That is the coolest part of all of this.
I think a lot about Clay's response to the media this week. And, you can watch it and you can be kind of like, dude, like, you kind of look washed, you kind of look haggard and that sort of thing. But the flip side of it is pretend you're him. Pretend you've been through all the things he's been. Part of you has to be like, look, man, I really don't want to hear it from you guys because I've struggled for 2 weeks. You don't really know what it's like to do everything that's happened over the last couple. Like, I get what he's saying, on that level. And I think it doesn't matter to me if they come back next year. It doesn't matter if this has 3 more years, like you said, or it's over right now. Like, they're made men as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way I'm always going to talk about it. Like, I don't know. It's always positivity with those 3 with me. Cause it's just kind of like, let's be honest, they move on to another era and you hope the next era achieves 1/5 of what these guys did,
there's also no era in basketball today across any team that is where this ever happens again. I mean,
yeah.
What are we seeing with? I think Memphis is a really good example of a team that everyone thought was going to be the next team.
They look promising, and
right, yeah. They're a mess. And right now the up and coming teams are the Thunder, right, and then the Orlando Magic, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and we'll see with those guys. We'll see. Everybody's always going to say that these teams. Yeah, the chat throws in the Celtics. Celtics have been good for a long time, but they've never won a championship, right? Like we will see. But what we've seen already with the Warriors is that we've seen the greatest trio of all time. We've seen Fitz brought it up, and Fitz. We make fun of Fitz. I do too. But Fitz had a great line. He said we've seen them go through the greatest regular season ever and the greatest postseason ever. We've seen these guys do both. It's freaking awesome. We'll never see it again. We'll never see it again.
Give them their due. Give them their due. All right, I think we got some bills to pay.
All right, before we get to the goons, this week's Light Years podcast is brought to you by Sleeper. The NBA season, we are almost 20 games in, which means you got to do it now. Have a chance to 100x your cash on daily fantasy basketball. Basketball has never been more exciting, this is true, than it is now, with guys like Steph, LeBron, Luka, KD, but like Anthony Edwards, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Devin Booker, all these up-and-coming, Tyrese Halliburton, all these up-and-coming superstars. So you can pick more or less on stats for these stars, like points, rebounds, three-pointers, steals, double-doubles, all that fun stuff for a 100x payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right and you can win big. Use the promo code right there on the screen, Light Years, and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for detail. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. All right. This week's Light Years podcast is brought to you up by AG1. I got a text this morning. At 5:46 a.m. From a
wasn't even me this time.
No, it was you. No, it was you. No, it was you with a powder that you sent to me. Maybe it was 7 p.m. the night before. But either way, you sent me a picture of you holding an AG1 ready to drink because Sam, and I agree with you, it helps with your daily health. helps with your energy. Yes, there we go. That's the picture. Thank you. AG1 is a foundational nutrition supplement that supports your body's universal needs like gut optimization, stress management, and immune support. Since 2010, AG1 has led the future of foundation nutrition, continuously refining their formula to create a smarter, better way to elevate your baseline health. AG1 is the supplement I trust to provide the support my body needs daily. If you take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/lightyears. That's drinkag1.com/lightyears. Check it out.
Nice. All right, let's get to the goons a little bit. Ready to get to the goons?
Let's go.
If you want to talk, hit this the button in the middle of the screen, as always, on playback. I think everyone knows how to do it now. Let's get it in. Get our guy. He's been batting leadoff most of the season, but it's good to have a consistent leadoff hitter. Our guy Gabe Kapler is wrong with the mix and match. Sometimes you need a consistent lineup.
Don't talk about.
So we're gonna lead off with Giosa. What's up, man?
Yeah, what's up, guys? So my take is Chris Paul has always been a blight to society, a blight to basketball, the NBA, and since day one, I've been saying he sucks, he's a tyrant, and he must go. That's my take.
Giosa's like that meme, the guy who showing up to his hater's funeral.
He's the best.
I'm trying to pull it up right now. He's going to be so excited if Chris Paul gets traded. Not even a question in my mind. This is going to be Giosa if Chris Paul gets traded. He's just going to be like, this guy.
You're going to pop it up.
Yep. There we go. Well, we'll keep him moving. He came in short and sweet with the, I got to just let you know, I'm not my guy. All right.
I love it. I love the energy.
I respect it. The man has been nothing but consistent all year. When the trade happened, he's like, nope, not into it. When I tried to talk you into it for 4 months, he's like, I'm not listening to a word you're saying. Nope. And the minute they play well without him, he's like, I told you, I'm out.
I'm back, baby. I'm back, baby.
Tadish, what's up, man?
What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up? How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. We finally got a win. And honestly, I can't lie. I low-key agree with Giosa. Like, for the first time this entire season, I saw pace. I saw Draymond get a stop and run the ball down the court. And yeah, Clay missed like 5 open shots in transition, but it was nice to see that pace back into it. And I think it got a lot of our players like into rhythm. So my question is, personally, like, what's your favorite trade market acquisition this time? And is it for CP3, or are you guys still on the trade Wiggs bandwagon? Because honestly, like, I think we got to get rid of CP3, 1 or 2 of the young players, and get like a Siakam, a Markkanen, something like that. And I think it's the chip. Honestly, I don't think there's anything behind.
1 win, we're back, baby. 1 win, 1 trade. 1 win, 1 trade, and we're back.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I got you.
So I think we all agree the trade has to be for a front court player.
Yes.
It's Zach LaVine. Maybe he's better than Clay. Maybe he's not, but I don't think it's actually making a difference. It's certainly not worth it. It's got to be for a guy like Siakam, Lowry Markkanen. They're different players, but they're clearly front court players. Because the biggest problem this team has is their 2 best front court players are non-scorers, Draymond and Looney. So you need someone who mixes with them, because the beauty of someone like Siakam is Siakam and Draymond. Yeah, it kind of works. Siakam and Looney. Yeah, it kind of works. You can like mix and match. It's pretty nice, right? So I think that's what they need to go for. And here's where I will differ from you. I know Andy doesn't agree with me, but here's where I disagree with you. While it would be nice for Chris Paul to be the piece that gets it, I'm comfortable with any of it. I think that they have so much wing depth, they can generally be okay with any of their wing depth being gone, if it clears up the front court for the right player, that does not mean that's my first choice. That just means push come to shove, like that. That's kind of where I'm at with it a little bit. But yeah, I think like perfect world, they're moving, the corporal for a guy who's like 9 to 10 inches taller than him, probably. Actually,
and a couple years
he's like 5'10", like a foot taller than him. Let's be real.
Pascal Siakam. I mean, you already answered your own question. Is really the only guy I think on the market tradable that I think makes his team a championship team. Right now, it's pretty clear they're not. We're through 20 games.
Do you think Ujiri's going to give him to us though?
Yeah, well,
we'll see.
He is a free agent after this. Like he hasn't signed anything. I don't know if they've tried to trade him or not. I feel it seems like they've tried to trade him in the past. I think there's a pretty good chance. I mean, they looked at trading him last trade deadline. They looked at trading OG Anunoby last trade deadline. Same thing, but I don't know. Masai Ujiri's kind of a.
I mean, yeah, he let
it's a wild card.
Off too, right?
He, like
for nothing.
He's kind of they call him like a bad faith negotiator. It's just someone they just get in the negotiation room and they'll tell you one thing on one hand and they'll just walk out the door and nothing gets done. You know what I mean?
I mean, besides the dude who just throws bullshit offers to your fantasy league, he's Andy's got Mahomes on his team and he's throwing Jared Goff and Devontae Smith.
He's like 2 for 1, 2 for 1. 2 for 1.
I'm going to start a wide receiver, a good quarterback. You're good.
Although this season, Goff and Devontae for Mahomes is not a bad. That's
true. That's true. That's not the best analogy. Maybe more of a offering you
birdie.
A birdie.
Purdy.
Who's been the best fantasy quarterback? Dak. I mean, Dak played tonight. I have Dak. Dak's been awesome this season, but he's been. Yeah, but anyway, we'll keep
appreciate you, Tanish.
Appreciate you, Tanish. He's always so happy. I love. You can tell he's young because he's always so happy. Unlike me. Although I am very happy tonight.
Ebony, what's up?
Nothing much, boys. Just chilling off a win with no wigs. It was pretty satisfying. I'm not gonna lie.
Last I remember.
Yeah, couple of things. It felt like the kids were playing for Wiggins minutes. Like they wanted to prove a point. That's what this game felt like. And so I know Steve Kerr won't do it because he has some weird obsession with Wiggins starting. But would it be possible if he starts Moody and Pods? The chat's gonna hate this, but starts Moody and Pods and brings Clay and Wiggins off the bench for the sake of pure energy to start the game, because those two dudes don't have any. So I'm curious. Or they don't have none, but it looks rough.
No, I get where you're going with it. I'm with you on this one. It's very clear he wants to protect the veterans a little bit, and we all know he's not going to do it, right? He's not going to do it off the bat, but it does. Doesn't Andy? I want to ask you this: does it sometimes feel like Clay and Wiggins are too similar with having a laid back approach?
Ooh, I like that one. I think that's. I think when she says the energy part, that's where it hit for me. That's the energy part, right? Same, and that's the thing with Clay and Wiggins, who I think they're better than Podziemski and Moody. But if you're talking about these micro moments within games where Clay and Wiggins are struggling, and you just watch Podziemski go in there and he's just drawing charges on James Harden in the backcourt. Moses Moody got a huge freaking offensive rebound tonight that got Clay a jump shot that
on the floor,
going. Right? That type
crazy.
of stuff is huge, right? It's unbelievable. And I think you can even throw in Chase Jackson Davis when he's gotten to play this season. He's been super energetic. I think that's just the type of stuff you need consistently. I don't think that's something the Warriors have had all season. So I think you're right.
Hear me out on this. So I don't know. I don't think Chris Paul really has much trade value.
He
I
does not.
mean, he pretty much like jogged up the floor and got injured. I'm not sure what happened there, but literally looked up and dude was walking to the back. Anyways,
That's what happens. That's what happens when you're close to 40.
so my question is, do we leave the starting lineup the way it is and then just bring Pods off the bench and waive Kojo? Because every time Andy freaking tweeted, why is he on the court?
Hey,
I
man.
wish the retweet button was bigger because it hurts. The dude doesn't shoot, and when he does, it hits like the side of the not the side of the backboard, but like that one ball that Curry threw up and it hit like the side of the rim, not even the rim, it just hit the backboard.
It's impressive.
That's every shot that he throws up. So it's like, do we just waive him and then move CP to like the third string, like garbage minutes and like, dire situations? Because it's like he has no speed, no pace or anything. So it's like, what can we do with like, I don't know. I think at this point it's all about energy, and if they have energy throughout the game, especially the third quarter where they almost blew the lead again, I literally started sweating. But I'm just saying, like, does the energy, like, does that change, like, how this team looks in the long run? But that's my last question.
Yeah.
But yeah, y'all have a good one.
Appreciate
the call. I mean, I think it speaks to the larger point, which is they do have a lot of players. It might make sense to just consolidate some players for better fit at a certain point.
Yep.
And we're gonna be playing with that trade machine for another 2 months, buddy.
Let me talk KJ. Shout out KJ. Shout out to Kevin Jones, our guy. I don't want to talk Kojo for 30 seconds because she brought him up. Look, man, I don't think he played terrible today. I know I was exaggerating on Twitter saying he played horrific. I know being embellished a little bit. He actually wasn't bad tonight. It's just he doesn't do anything. There's no. It's like Sam. It's like when I still play basketball, right? With a lot of my friends, we still play tournaments and stuff. I basically do what Kojo does. I'm not a threat, right? I just set screens. I play decent defense. I don't turn the ball over. I don't do anything wrong. I also don't do anything good. There's nothing I'm doing out there that's changing the game. It's not fun, right? So it just I don't need him on the court.
A lot of tipping the ball out.
Hey, but look, I got to set a defensive rebound. You know what I mean? Like I set a great screen. You know what I mean? So it's just like he's fine. I get why Steve Kerr wants to play him in those situations, especially with Pods, right? Just to make sure that he has another ball handler on the floor. He always tries to sneak 3 minutes in where Pods and Steph are playing. 21 years old. I assure you can play 35 minutes. I assure you he can. So it's just he has an infatuation with just your solid, no mistake veteran guard, right? He's always been like that, and I don't know.
The Wanamaker.
Yeah, I would say Corey Joseph is better, right? Corey Joseph is better than Wanamaker.
He's definitely better, right? But it's like the same school of
course. I mean, even Chris Paul is like the super roided version of that. I mean, if we're being honest,
that's where he's at this stage of his career.
It is correct.
He's somehow like the 5'10" Draymond and like the like fancy Wanamaker, right?
And I actually think Chris Paul's played pretty well this season, which is the crazy part. When he's been on the court, he's been actually good. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's obviously old and stuff, but he can still play. It's obvious.
The Warriors would tell you, let's get 10 games in a row of Draymond not getting kicked out of games and Chris Paul, and tell me you have a problem with his role, you know? And you know the problem is I can't really push back on that. Well, I would just be like, you're right. It would be nice if I got 10 straight games of Draymond without getting kicked out. So,
but I would say this though, Sam. If when you're talking to the Warriors front office, I would push back for you to them. I would push back and say,
stop.
They would win a lot of regular season games, but they're not winning you a championship. Is that not the point of this team? Right.
Well, here's the pushback. Okay, Draymond gets suspended for 5 games. Okay,
mm-hmm. Yep.
They went 2-3. What do they go if they don't have Chris Paul?
1-4, 0-5.
Wow, it's like I mean, I guess you could say if they had Jordan Poole, they'd probably go 2-3, and then it's just a more ugly 2-3. Like he gets hot for 2 games, and the 3 games are really ugly. So maybe it doesn't make a difference, but I don't know.
I just think the goal of the team is to win it all, and if you're trying to build a regular season team, I definitely agree that they'd win a lot of games with those guys on the court, and them being on the court is actually a problem in itself. Like we knew CP3 was going to get hurt. Nobody's sitting here thinking that CP3 is going to play 80 games this season. We knew he was only going to play like 64, right? But I don't know, man. How are you going to win a championship with that? Whatever. Tonight has been a good win. Let's keep it moving.
Just keep it moving.
I won't do the same Chris Paul argument that we've done for like 3 months.
I mean, I don't even disagree with you. I just like, we'll see.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice if they won a lot of regular season games. Though it'd be nice for you and I too.
It would be like I would love to see 3 wins in a row before we get into this stuff a little bit
before championship. That's a nice AV right there from Shirley. You're muted. I think. You're gone. Also, I guess you're gone. We got a lot of people.
We got our guy Ken up here. Ken's been waiting patiently, throwing out trade requests in the chat.
That's what I like to see. Oh no, did we lose?
Hey guys,
Ken?
can you hear me?
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah, we got you. What's up, Ken?
I got to show you this killer shirt.
Look at that.
Nice.
What
year is that? 2014.
Champions. Yeah. I can't read it. My belly's too big.
Hey Ken, how are you celebrating when the Giants get Shohei Ohtani? How are you celebrating?
I'm sorry, say that again, Andy?
It's not happening.
How are you celebrating when the Warriors get Shohei Ohtani? I mean, when the Giants get Shohei Ohtani, how are you celebrating?
I'm going to be honest. I'm an A's fan.
Oh,
except fuck those guys. So someone gave me the shirt, and I'm happy that the Giants are winning. But
good for you.
I'm really an A's fan.
Good for you. Fair enough.
my guy Ken.
I was going to say.
I'm not. I will not put on the.
He should have slid. He should have slid.
Yes, he should have.
Not
ready to relive it. Anyway.
So we don't trade Corey Joseph because if they trade Chris Paul, we're gonna be glad Corey's on the roster.
That's true. That's a fair point.
I think the big lesson from today is not we can win without Chris, we can win without Wiggins. It's thank you, Steve Kerr, for pulling your head out of your ass and using the roster the way it was intended to be used this year. Now just do that 70 more times. And then 63. If he uses this roster this way for the next 20 games, then we know what we need to do. We don't know what we need to do yet because the roster hasn't been used correctly this whole fucking season until tonight. And even tonight, there were things he could have done. He could have played Trace for 4 or 5 minutes each half. Just 4 or 5 minutes each half. And then that keeps the wear and tear on Draymond and Looney down. Looney looks bad, but maybe he's just tired. That's all I got. A lot of other people have a lot of great points, so I'll get out of your guys' hair. Love you guys.
Ken, appreciate it. I think that's actually the call of the night. I think he's correct. Literally, just use the roster the best you can, and then we'll know exactly how aggressive you need to be at the trade deadline. Pretty simple. Do your work, and then we'll know what you need.
I can't believe Steve Kerr came out on multiple radio shows and then a presser saying that he should have played Moses Moody at the end of that game. I thought that was the funniest thing.
Do you think he got told from the higher ups that? Do you think? Do you
think they're mad at him?
Of course. How would you feel if you're the front office and those are the decisions he makes with the roster you picked? It's like, it's debatable if you talk to him or you let it play out a little more, but you're not happy. 24-point lead. Yeah. Not
I
happening.
mean, the OKC game, it reminds me of that OKC game as well, where you just sometimes you got to micromanage a game, buddy. Whatever. I mean, keep it moving. Tachion, reliable. What's up?
Enough of the cop talk. Enough of wanting to see if Trace Jackson Davis has better hands than James Wiseman. Enough of seeing friend of the show, the other Esfandiari, talking about if there's another trade from 2021 about Siakam to the Warriors. Everyone needs to take a breath and just appreciate what we have with this core right now. Steph, Dre, and Clay have been the greatest trio in NBA history. And if you want to talk about the Bulls, go ahead. I don't care. I don't have to see Scottie Pippen just have to co-please on this team. So I think it's all been a wonderful experience that the Warriors have some of the greatest competitors in the modern era who don't cheat the game, especially with the grifting that's been happening this entire season. Rest has just been god-awful, but that's another conversation for another day. But no matter what we see, no matter how long this may last, I just want to say thank you to this core, because I don't know how long I could watch another sports team just being frustrated with my Giants, just being god-awful my entire lifetime. But this has been the greatest dynasty of my lifetime, and it's probably going to be the only dynasty probably going to be the last dynasty in the NBA, personally, in, like, let's say 30 years, personally. That's my hottest take, personally.
Wow. Yeah. I mean,
We'll see. Tasha, I appreciate you.
great call.
We got fire through a couple more.
Yeah. Giants have sucked in his lifetime, so damn, he must be young. Wasn't that long ago they won a championship. Oh, wow, I saw 3.
All right, you guys hear me?
Yeah, we're back.
What's up, man?
All right. First question: what is even the biggest difference between the first half of the season and the second half? And second question, Sam, if you're really at these games, man, why aren't you, at the gatehouse in the back flashing the Adonal Foyle jersey, the Troy Murphy jersey? We want to see proof. We need to record it on the DVRs.
Oh, I appreciate it. What's the difference between the first half and the back half, huh? Andy, I'll let you take that.
Wait, hold on. What does he mean by that? Like, does he mean by, like, the first 10 games or the second 10 games, or like the first half of the game? I'm not sure. By the way, if people want to see you at the games, you just look right next to LAC. That's where you're at, right next to him. I'm still not understanding the question. The difference between the first half of the season and the second half of the season. I'm still not understanding it. Right? Is it pre or post trade deadline? Is that what we're getting at? I'm not. Sam, maybe help me out here. I don't know. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Yeah, I don't know. I'm lost. I'm sorry, Shirley. I would love to answer it, but I'm not sure what he means.
I just want to throw this out there. I'm a non-jersey at a game guy. I don't think I've worn it. Oh, sure. Let's come back up. We'll come back.
All right. I mean, like, the first, what is it? We were 6-2 or something.
Oh,
6-3.
okay.
And then after that, it was just like, at first we were like, oh man, here we go. We're here.
I see
we're
what
back.
you're saying. Got it.
And now it's like, oh god, the world's on fire.
Well, the first 8 games, they were 6-2, but to me, it felt like a little bit of a fraudulent 6-2, though, right? It felt like a little bit of, well, you had to go in and you barely beat Detroit. Remember how angry I was after that game? People gave me a bunch of shit for that. I'm like, that's not a winning team's win. I mean, like, sure, that's a win, but it's not great. You barely win at home. You win on the road. You barely beat OKC on the road, or barely beat OKC without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, right? And so just a lot of those games to me were super close against teams that were missing guys. So I wasn't that impressed. And so then when you got guys that were all out, that were all ended up getting suspended, things that were pretty obvious. Like, Draymond's not his first time getting suspended. That's not something that is all of a sudden not going to happen the rest of the season, right? And then you've got against who struggled. Those guys are still struggling. through 20 games. Wiggins couldn't play tonight because he freaking sprained his finger on a car door. Come on, man. Let's be serious. So I wasn't bought in. I'm still not bought in, but I don't know. Like Sam said, I'm sure they'll tell you that if we get everyone healthy for 20 games, we'll be fine. But I don't know. When are you going to get that happen? My pushback would be, when are you going to get that to happen? These guys are old.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I want to give him more time, but
I believe is what I want to do, Sam. I want to believe. I'm rooting for them to fail, man. I want to believe, but how I feel is that they're not real. But we'll see.
That's fair.
Maybe Pods will be the guy. Maybe that'll be like the guy, the man.
Maybe that'll be the guy. Connor, what's up, man?
Certainly seems that.
Yo, what's good? How's it going?
What's up, brother?
Good.
I have a couple quick points. The first being, I know a lot of people talk about Chris Paul and the pace issue, about how slow he plays, but I think the strongest case for getting rid of him is the fact that you have to make a ton of concessions because of his stature in the league that you might not have to with other players. And then the second point is with Kuminga, I feel like it's a weird case. He reminds me a little bit of Harrison Barnes in the sense that I think if he stays on this team, he has to be in the starting lineup, because I just don't feel like him being a part of like the bench unit maximizes his talent. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I just feel like if Kuminga stays, he has to be a starter or else he has to be traded.
I like that one. I like that.
Oh, I like that take because I've been saying that the whole time. I agree with it. So you're hitting all my buttons here, which is you want to be a role player. I think you can get him to defend and do other things, but he's wasted coming off the bench. His best role is playing around Steph, around Draymond, using his athleticism in the starting lineup. I like that. I like that comp in general. You kind of saw it a little tonight. He didn't start, but you saw when he feels like he has more freedom, you get more out of him. Now, at some point, you'd like him to just play without those sort of things, but that's also life a little bit too. So sometimes you got to put a guy in a better position.
That is also life. He was really good defensively tonight. Still would like him to cut off ball to the rim more instead of shooting a three. But anyway, we got one here.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Connor.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you. Play Steve real quick here.
Hitting shots. What do you think of Kuminga's overall night? It was great. He didn't foul. Not one foul. And he's out there guarding Kawhi and Paul George. And, really tough matchups, and used his athleticism. Had 5 rebounds in the first half. Dove to the rim and then took the three when it was there. The game just felt really clean to me for JK. Like he kept it simple, and that's what we've been harping on. And very happy for him because JK is a great young guy. He wants this so bad, but he gets frustrated at times, like a lot of young players. And things haven't gone his way lately, and he really stayed with it. So the approach paid off, and I'm really happy for him.
Well, there you go. I mean, at least calling it out a little bit. Yeah, shocking. Got frustrated, was kind of down on himself a little bit. So, yeah. All right. Let's get to last call.
Lakers got mollywopped tonight, huh?
Yep. That's what they do.
Missed that one.
So are we going to call that the geriatric bowl that we won tonight?
Yeah.
Well, I'm the guy who I tweaked my back at the gym today. I'm the same age as Clay, so one sympathizes.
Deadlift?
Squats, even worse.
How much weight?
Not a lot.
Yeah.
The first time I tweaked my back in the gym was doing shrugs, which is so much more embarrassing.
Dude, that's way worse. That's way worse.
When you have to do the waddle to the yoga mat,
yeah,
it's rough. Yeah,
it's just you're going home.
I'm good, Johnny.
Heat pad, yeah, exactly. What's up, man?
Nothing much. So I think we're closer to the 6-2 team than we are losing 8 of the 10. I was a little bit behind on the Kings game, so I kind of zipped through it, and that was just
good,
absolutely brutal. OKC game brutal.
Yep.
But I think one, it's just criminal that Moody was going to be out of the rotation. I think it's just like watching. Even today wasn't his best game, but like 13 points.
Yeah.
That board, I think that board on the ground kind of changed the game. I think it was the Steph or Clay who hit the 2 or 3, kind of like just solidified, like prevented that run from going real downhill. And I think the most frustrating part is that I think the starting 5 work in the playoffs, but it's the regular season that we're talking about. And like, I think being able to like maximize lineups with like a Steph, Moody, Saric, Wiggins, and Draymond, just for energy purposes. Just because, like, in an 82-game season, is Clay going to be diving for a ball? You know, I mean, I'm 33. I blew out my back. You know what I mean? Like, am I going to really just bend over, go for knees, and things like that? So I feel pretty good about, like, the team, like, in a playoff setting. But I just feel like in the regular season, it's just, like, small tweaks to win games to get, like, the top 6 seed.
I agree with you. Like the whole like all the old guys in one lineup and all the young guys in another lineup doesn't make sense. It's like mix and match it a little bit. You know, you see it like Pods was excellent tonight, but like part of it is just inserting his energy around some guys who aren't going to die for balls matters.
That is the one. I mean, a couple callers have brought us the same thing. It's like you just need dudes that want to treat a late November game like it's a playoff game. Yeah, Draymond doesn't want to do that. He can't because he probably will blow his back out with Clay. Like his knees probably giving him. Seriously, like Steph. Yeah. Actually, Steph's the guy. And we haven't talked about Steph at all tonight, but Steph's the guy. He's the guy that doesn't. He just can't go pick and roll all night, every night. He can't. Beat the Warriors by himself. In that first game, just by himself, Josh Okogie won that game. It's just like sometimes the Warriors have Josh Okogies in the form of Pods, in the form of Moody. Kuminga, is trying that night. Same thing. To your point about getting to top 6 seed, I'm doing a little standings watch for you guys. The Warriors are currently ranked 10th in the 10th in the West. Yeah. Two games behind the Kings, who are in 6th. Just a little standings watch for you.
A little early.
I'll tell you, 19 games.
And it's like I don't really need to see TJD or Pods in the playoffs, like against LeBron or the Lakers, where it's like there is some, but it's just like I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to tell like the older guys, like, hey, this is just for minutes in the regular season of January, February to get you ready for the playoffs. Kind of what Pop did with Duncan, Ginobili,
That's Steve's job, right? That's Steve's job. Steve's got to get him to buy in. I mean, that's why he's the coach. I mean, I don't think they have him the coach because he has freaking amazing X's and O's. I don't think that's the case. He's not Spoelstra out there, right? Like that's his job is to convince Clay, like, yo, man, might be 28 minutes tonight, right? Because you're 2-14 and you're not good. You're tired. Right? It might be Moody time, yeah. So I'm with you.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, take care.
Have a great evening.
Thanks, brother.
Take care of that back.
Oh, at the gym. What has been my worst injury at the gym?
I have done the injure my back doing shrugs at the gym where you take.
How do you even do that? I don't. Well, is that even possible?
I wasn't proud of it, so that's.
I've had the, and everybody will know this. Every dude will know this that's listening. Is I've had the shoulder injury because I tried to bench too much. And so I ended up like popping my elbow out when it's too much. It's like I probably shouldn't be going 205 because I'm not that strong. But I'm feeling good today. I want to let out 3 reps, right? And I'm just like, fuck. And then you walk out and you're not doing shit. Yeah, you never want to do an ego lift.
No, it's for me. It's always been that was the weird one, but the other one's the more common, like squats or deadlift, where you're not as warm as you think you are.
Yeah,
and you're like, I could do a little more than this. And then you do it and you're like, no, I can't. And now I'm going to go ice this. Well, what it really is heat it for an extended period of time. So.
Well, I've got bad form in my squats too. So it's like, oh, why is my groin kind of sore? It shouldn't be that sore after doing squats. But all right.
Let's end it here. We get out of here.
See you Saturday.
We got to win. We're back Saturday.